Hey Visionary, welcome back to another episode here at the Nothing for Granted podcast. I am so refreshed and just full and still on cloud nine from having taken 2 weeks off for our wedding, just final preparation, the actual wedding, and then just some downtime to revel in all of the perfection, because honestly, it was just the most perfect time. You guys can catch all of the updates on my personal Instagram. That's at Sloan the Beast, as well as my YouTube page, and the link is on there as well. So without further ado, today I want to talk to you about the 5 reasons that you're not living out your purpose work. Okay, I'm sorry. I have to call you out on this, right? Because I think that a lot of us get stuck in this space of complacency and we make all of these excuses. And as I was planning out and mapping out what March is going to look like, I realized a lot of things, we shouldn't call them excuses, right? We should call them decisions. It's a decision that you make to choose, one thing over the other, to choose not to build your business versus staying up watching Netflix, right? Like, that's a choice, right? Netflix can be quote unquote the excuse, but it's actually just the decision. So today I'm going to be calling you out on the 5 excuses that you're telling yourself that are stopping you from living out your purpose work. Let's go ahead and jump right into today's episode. So if you haven't already, join me at the Funding and Freelance Facebook page. It is our completely free community page where I show up. I just connect with you a little further. If you guys have any questions, you can DM me. I know a lot of you are shy, and there seems to be a rise in those of you that are both in the Facebook community page and on Instagram. And so we've been having amazing conversations even on IG DMs. So however it is that you feel most comfortable connecting with me, I'm accessible to you guys. I'm not just this unicorn out there. You have total access to me to ask your questions, and I will do my very best to help you in whatever way that I can. So go ahead and join me at Funding and Freelance. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So the number one excuse that you are telling yourself is you don't have the time. This is why I believe that this is just blatant lie, okay? I am a mom of 4 children that I homeschool, okay? I make the time to take them out every Friday on different adventures. I make the time to build a beauty academy with my husband. I make the time to build this funding business. I make the time to show up here and podcast, right? I make the time to sit and watch an hour of Ozark with my husband. Like, these are things that I allocate time to because they're important to me. So if building a business is important to you, if going freelance is important to you, if taking a missions trip, right, is important to you, then you need to better prioritize yourself. You need to better manage your time. And I have an entire episode on time management as a busy mom, and I will go ahead and link that down below. But ultimately, that's just an excuse. We all have the same 24 hours in the day. I know you guys are sick of hearing that. Ultimately, it comes down to, how are you using your time? So that's excuse number 1. Excuse number 2 as to why you're not living out your purpose work. And this is specific to those of you who understand that if you are a Christian and you have been called to business, then you've been called to kingdom entrepreneurship. Okay, your business is your ministry. I read somewhere that said, if you are a business owner, your employees, your clients, that is your congregation. Number 2, the second reason why you are not living out your purpose work. This is the excuse that you're telling yourself, and I know because it's the excuse that I used to tell myself, and I don't have enough verses memorized. I don't have any fancy prayers, and I don't have any Bible school accolades, certificates, medals, not even participation. Like, I'm not there yet, God, right? I don't have enough fancy words to be an ambassador of you. What? I'm sorry, but have you been to a sermon where they're using dictionary words? How much of that hit you? how much of that penetrated and retained in your mind and heart? Probably not a lot of it, right? Because you were so busy looking up dictionary.com app and trying to figure out what he was saying that you totally missed the message. No, the simplest messages are the ones that hit home. And I'll tell you what's the simplest message of all, the one that you don't even have to say anything. It's your testimony of life. With your testimony of life, God can use you. Okay, you do not need to know the entire Bible. You do not need to have all these verses memorized and all these elaborate sermons written out. You don't have to stand on fancy platforms. You have to have a willing heart. Third excuse that you are making yourself. So you don't have the money. I think that this is a total mentality shift. It's a conversation I've been having even with my intimate friends lately, that I just don't feel like money is a limitation. Like, you could always make more money. You have to shift your mindset from I can't afford this to how can I afford this. You have assets around your house. You have the ability to make money. Literally, if you have a vehicle, you can make money right now, right? There's ways to build revenue, to build wealth. Does it require for you to get outside of your comfort zone? Yeah, 100%. Does it require for you to sacrifice certain things? Of course it does. But saying I don't have the money to build this business, to build the life that I envision, that I deserve, that's just not good enough. Honestly, it's not good enough. Like, if you really want this, it will happen. You will find a way to make it happen. I'm sure that you can think of 1,000 things. 1,000 things are running through your mind right now that you said, I don't know where I'm going to come up with this money, but I am. And God was like, boom, yes, you are, girl. Like, if you understand who you serve, if you understand that if it came to your mind, it's because it's already yours. Like, God is not going to give you a vision and a desire to do something and to live something out that isn't for you to begin with. Like, that's just, I don't believe that at all. So stop using money as an excuse. That's all it is. You are making the decision to not figure out how to make the money. Number 4 is I have no support. I have no support with my kids. I have no support from my husband. I have no support from my friends and my family. And they laugh at the thought that I would leave a secure job with benefits and PTO to freelance on my own, not knowing where my next client is going to come from, not knowing how much money I can make in a month, and kind of just winging it. I'm crazy. I have no support. My husband and I didn't have support for a while, for a long while. And it was because we didn't have the transportation to take our kids to daycare, as grandma's house. And so for 2 years, we had to have our then 3 children with us day in and day out at the barbershop. I'm talking 5 a.m. all the way to 10 p.m. at night. Trust me, there were long days. No support. No support from our family in terms of supporting our business, in terms of financially supporting our business, in terms of sharing about our business, in terms of being clients at our business, like nothing, no support whatsoever. But we had each other and we made it work. And for those of you that maybe are single moms or are just single period and you say, no one is supporting me, you know what? Be grateful. Sometimes it's better to have no support than to have negative support. Trust me, you don't want people in your corner who are going to kick you down when you're already down. People who are going to impact you negatively and spread negative energy around this thing that you're trying to build. Your peace is so important in this building stage that you don't want bad vibes around you. You only want people that are going to challenge you and give you positive criticism and push you into growth, not push you away from your purpose. And so saying, I have no support, guess what? Maybe that's a blessing. I know I have a friend, she's a newlywed, and when she first moved here, she said, I feel some type of way because my family is all in New Orleans. And I said, count it as a blessing, girl. It's actually, I would highly recommend you not live close to your family in the first couple of years of your marriage, because it is so easy for you to divulge information you don't have to divulge, to retract back home whenever you have fights, and just you create these toxic habits because you have that safety net. But when it's just the two of you, you kind of have nowhere else to turn, right? And I said, you actually don't want the support right now. You actually want them to be nice and far. And so for some of you, I really think that that is the case. If you say, I have no support, that may be a blessing in disguise. The fifth and final excuse that you are telling yourself as to why you're not living out your purpose work, what's stopping you, is God can't possibly use someone with a past like mine's. God can't possibly use me. So God can't possibly use somebody with a past like mine. Come on, guys. If you haven't heard my testimony, I will link it down below, but I am not perfect. I have not been perfect. I've made a ton of mistakes, and trust me, were it not for God's mercy and grace, I would not be here today. My life is a total 180 to what it was before. I love going out and running into people who say, I can't believe you're the same person. Running into people who say, you didn't even want kids. You weren't even supposed to have kids. Doctor said you can't have kids. How do you have 4 kids right now? How are you in a healthy marriage when you come from a broken family? How are you a healthy Christian when you were raised in hardcore, extremist, fanatical Christian environments? How? God, man, God. Like you think that it's because of you. God can never use someone like me. That's the point. Only God can use someone like you. Only God can use someone with a background like yours, because through your past story is how his voice, how his work is going to be amplified, right? Because only God could take someone who came from your background, who made the mistakes that you made, and turn them into what you are today and what you will be as you start to walk out your destiny. I think that we get so caught up in, I'm just not there yet. I haven't hit perfection yet. I haven't hit, certain levels yet. Who cares about that? I mean, we can turn to the Bible and talk about Moses, right? Hello, murderer. We can talk about David. Hello, fornicator, adulterer, murderer, liar. Like, what? Come on. God doesn't use perfect people. That's the point. He uses the underdogs. And that is where his perfect work in us is exemplified for others to see and be transformed through that. All right, visionaries. So I hope that today's episode on the 5 excuses that you're telling yourself that are stopping you from living out your purpose work, I hope that this episode helped you. I want to recap real quick. The 5 excuses that you are going to stop telling yourself are: you don't have enough time. You don't have enough fancy schmancy words and verses memorized and Bible school education. You don't have the money. You don't have the support. And God can't possibly use someone like you. These are all lies. These are all lies that the enemy tells us to try and stop us from living out the life that God has for us. But if you've been called to kingdom entrepreneurship, you need to stand above that. You need to understand that they are nothing more than choices that are really within your control. Because if God has said, this is for you, that's it. That's your permission slip. Girl, get going. That's your green light. Go. If you guys need prayer, you can email me. You can DM me on Instagram. I would love to pray for you and for any insecurities that you have over this new season in your life. I really feel like there is a new strategy that is coming about in the spiritual realm for kingdom entrepreneurs. I really feel like there is this push in the winds in our favor. And if you believe that, then amen, hallelujah. Intercede for your brothers and sisters who are kind of on the fence about this as well. Visionary, I will catch you in Friday's episode. And thank you so much for being here. Many blessings on you.